Agents, you have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, into the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5, touchdown Bears!
Time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. Right. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition and Juneteenth edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning. Shawn and Maya in the morning. Woo, Charlie! Man, I thought I got a little confused for a second. Wait a minute, it's a little crazy. But hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. And listen, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to our show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that Facebook page as well. Like that as well. And now you're following the show's page, Shawn and Maya in the morning. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real. All right, listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, and also click the notification button. That's the little bell. Okay. That'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Any of our shows. All right. Get it? Got it? Good. If you're watching us on our mobile app, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. I like it. And if you didn't, wait. You didn't know we had a mobile app? Come on, man. Listen, we have an app. So wherever you get your apps from, right, you go there. Whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy's, okay, Woolworth, wherever you get your apps from, right? You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council the Third. Big up for Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And if you're watching us on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. We're live there right now. That's what I'm talking about. We're live right there right now. So listen, whatever, if you have a Roku device in the house, okay? If you have a Roku device in the house, go there. Download Sports Zone Chicago's tile. Okay, do it. Very simple. All right, you put it right there in the middle of HBO Max, which is actually called Max now. Hulu, Disney Plus. All right, you've already downloaded Stars. You've caught Power. You downloaded Paramount Plus because you watch Yellowstone. You downloaded Showtime because you're about to watch Billions again. Download Sports Zone Chicago tile, and you can watch us live on the big screen. Now, if you have more than one Roku device in the house, do us a favor. Download it to all of your Roku televisions or TVs in the house. Just do us that solid. Do us that favor. All right? We would greatly appreciate it. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, we'll just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. man, we have a phenomenal show for you. But we need you to get interactive with us. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, our mobile app, you can't get interactive with us, unfortunately, though, via the Roku channel. But that's okay. Watch us on Roku and send us a message on your phone. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Do it. All right. And listen, we want your participation because that's what makes this the best Chicago Sports Talk morning show around is your question, your participation. So bring it. Give us all that smoke, baby. Questions, comments, smart ass remarks. Bring them this way. We want them. We want them. And here's what you do. Whatever platform you're watching on or watching us on, do us a favor. Leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll get it up on screen and we'll incorporate it into the show. And as I said, that is what makes this the best Chicago morning sports talk show around. Period. Let's see who we got in the chat already. Cornelius Squalls, what up, baby? Marshawn Walls, he's in the house. What up on a House Music Monday? Move your body. Man, they had me move my body at CrossFit today. I was not happy. Burpees today. Burpees. Oh, I was not happy. Woo, Charlie. And my back tightened up before that with kettlebell swings and squats. And whoo, it was a rough one this morning, but I got through it. I will survive. Like Gloria Gaynor said, I will survive. My man, Luis Mejia. Good morning, baby. Rise and grind. I love it. I love it. I love it. Have a great day. Lavette Lee's in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. My man, Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr. He's in the house. Man, I know you've been busy like a mother Hubbard, boy, with the nice weather. Man, you got the little car, the car washing, the details and stuff out back. You hot. Ooh, Charlie, I know you've been busy. Make that money. Facebook user, thank you. Let's go. I don't know who you are. Do us a favor. Make sure you give Facebook the permission to use your name. If you please do me a favor, just type your name. It's such and such. It'd be great. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. What up, Papa? And if he's watching, that means Armando Emeterio Lara the fourth is watching, and Jeremiah is watching. Gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. So, what are you, a Berlin person or a Beach Street kind of person? No, I'm not even going to go there. Vernon Fairley's in the Mickey V house. Good morning. I wonder if Zion and Tim Anderson will be a duo call, a side baby boys. Oh. Or they'd be called baby mama drama. Oh, no. No, Zion didn't get a girl pregnant. That's right. Never mind. Not yet. Lavette Lee's in the house. Good morning, Mama. My man Steve's watching. Steve-O, what's up? Man, we have a great show. Listen, when I say we have a great show, I got to pull. I am not bull jiving. Man, I'm fired up. So at 10:30, so we have a little bit of a change in the schedule. That's okay. It happens. What are you going to do? My man Junior says, break it, not Berlin. I was like, what the hell am I? A Berlin kind of guy. I've never been to Berlin. I'd like to go, but that's neither here nor there. 10:30, Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery is going to join us. We got a lot of Bears to talk at 10:30. Eric is quite the controversial guy. A lot of people aren't feeling him. A lot of people have issues with him. And I don't really get why. He has his own takes, but a lot of his articles are based off of what other people say. And he just gives his opinion, which is what we all do. I don't get it. It's crazy. But Eric, man, if you want Bears talk, check out Eric. Check out Eric. My man prints out, he publishes about 2.5 Bears articles a day. I'm telling you, he is a writing fool. He's a Bear blogging fool, boy. Man, he is, man, he's on it. And he's following other people, what they're saying and what they're writing about. So we're going to talk to Eric. We're going to talk to Eric at 10:30. At 11 o'clock, my man Adam Shalafu Adam Shalafu is going to join us today, and we just kind of put a bow on the NBA season. And then also how it relates to the Bulls. Okay, we're going to talk the big trade that happened yesterday in the NBA. No, it wasn't with our Bulls. Gee, there's a shocker. So, Adam Shalafu at 11 o'clock. We got some baseball talk. We got some baseball talk at 10 o'clock to start the show off, well, at the top of the hour. And I got a grind to pick with my White Sox again. I'm sitting there as the Texas Rangers come to town today. They come to town for a 3-game set, and their manager, Bruce Bochy. Okay? I have my thoughts on this, which is really, really driving a wedge further and further and further or deeper into the relationship between me and my White Sox. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'll talk about that a little bit at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. I don't like it. Period. And it's something that I've said before, but it just really, really, really was brought to light recently. And especially now that the Texas Rangers are coming to town with manager Bruce Bochy and the first place Texas Rangers. Did I say the first place Texas Rangers? The first place Texas Rangers. So we'll talk more about that at 11 o'clock. That's actually going to be at 10 o'clock. And like I said, at 10:30, we're going to have Eric Lambert talking Bears. 11 o'clock, we're going to talk a little Bulls. 11:30, we'll wrap it up. Who knows what we'll talk about? Actually, I do. But who knows what we'll talk about? We're going to take it in a different direction. We're going to have some fun. No Junior, no Cubs. Cubs stink. I'm kidding. I love giving my Cub fan friends. I love giving them shit. That's funny. That is funny. But listen, man, we got to get it on and cracking this morning, baby. We got to get it cracking lacking. So let's get it started, guys. You know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, baby. Yay. The first. Where did that go? Oh, my goodness. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. My goodness gracious, great balls of fire. What? We're good. You know, first top of the morning topic. Crazy. My good guys, the White Sox. They fall to the Seattle Mariners. 5-1. Lance Lynn. He gets the loss. 4-8 is his record now for the season. But they wasted a phenomenal outing. Phenomenal outing by Lance Lynn. And that, you got to understand, like this, Sox can't keep doing this. The White Sox cannot keep doing this. You know, I don't get it. Lance Lynn, he got the loss. He went 7 innings. Okay, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned. 2 walks, 16 punch-outs. 7 innings, 3 runs. That's a quality start. 16 strikeouts. He ties the Chicago White Sox franchise record for strikeouts in a game. And you put up 1 run. 1 run. Andrew Benintendi drove in the only run. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI, his 18th of the season. Elvis Andrus was 1 for 3, knocking in his second double of the season. Robert Jr., Louis Robert Jr., Lou Bob, as I affectionately call him. He was 1 for 4 with a double as well, his 20th. But Benintendi was the only guy who knocked in a run. You know, this is quite the I mean, what the hell am I going to keep saying? Every single time. Every single time. And this is going to go into my rant at 10 o'clock about the Chicago White Sox team. And my vitriol and my aim this episode goes right directly smack dabbing in the lap of Rick Hahn. Smack dab. And I'm not very happy. I'm not very happy at all. You know, you got the White Sox yesterday with 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Okay, 2 for 5. It only plated 1 run since we lost 5-1. We're not. First of all, we're not getting hits. We got 6 hits. 6. What kind of nonsense is that? We need 8-10 hits a game. You scatter those throughout the innings. 1 of the first, 1 of the third, 1 of the fourth, 1 of the seventh, 1 of the eighth. You scatter those, it doesn't give you much of a scoring threat at all. Not at all. So this is a situation where, man, I don't even know what to say. You know, how many times can I keep coming on here and saying the same shit over and over and over again? I should just record it. Just record it and play it back for you. Give me more time. I don't have to speak so much. Same shit, different day. I'll just change the name of the team. Against the Rangers yesterday, against the Chiefs, against the Tigers yesterday, against the Padres yesterday, against the Tigers yesterday, against the Yankees yesterday, against the Dodgers yesterday, and then just continue to play the same thing that I've been playing this whole season. Sox couldn't get guys on. Sox couldn't get guys in. Sox couldn't get them on, couldn't get them over, couldn't get them in. Key hits, bad pitching, errors, mental mistakes. Tim Anderson. You know, I'm fed up and I'm getting angrier by the day, by the game. If you just in case you didn't know, I have my Juneteenth shirt on. Happy Juneteenth out there for all the people. I'll talk a little bit about it when we come back from break. But I'm really starting to get pissed off at our boys. And again, I'm going to go in depth with this at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. But Tim Anderson needs to go. You know, he didn't play shortstop yesterday. He got a day off, thank God. He needed it. But gets doubled up off on a foul ball on Saturday. What? A foul ball. You know, listen, I do not feel sorry for pro athletes who get involved into shit like he's gotten into. Okay? I don't. You made your bed, literally and figuratively. You lied in it, now lie in it, literally and figuratively. So I'll save it for 10. So the White Sox keep them at the top of the one topic. They started a 3-game set today against the Texas Rangers. The Sox on the mound for the Sox, we don't know. It's to be determined. All right, but they're going against Andrew Heaney, who's 4-4 with a 4.05 ERA. And as I said, the guy coming to town leading the first place Texas Rangers is Bruce Bochy. All right, Texas is 44-27, 17 games above 500. They lead that division by 4.5 games over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They are tied for the second best record in the American League. Tampa is on a roll. They're 51-24. That's 27 games over 500. 27 games over 500. We had a chance to win that series. Insane. In freaking insane. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? All right, we don't even know who's pitching. It's going to be a game time decision. Who shows up? Who's going to show up? That's not on the injured list. This has gotten progressively worse. Progressively worse. When do the Sox, or do they care? And I think I'm answering my own question is I don't think they do. When are our fans, let me put it that way, when are fans going to stop patronizing this franchise? Because of the boneheaded decisions that they make. Because of all the egos that are present, that get in the way of winning. See, the bottom line for fans is winning. That's what we want. The bottom line for organizations, and this is where fans have to get this straight, is making money. It doesn't necessarily mean winning. Yes, that's nice. But are you making money? And that's what the White Sox are doing. They don't give a damn about winning. As evidenced by all these decisions that are being made the last few years. But again, I digress. I will hold my rant. I will definitely hold my rant until 10 o'clock. Because when I realized, okay, the Texas Rangers are coming to town, it really set me off for a lot of different reasons. Set me off. Okay. But the main one we'll discuss at 10 o'clock. The main one. All right. So before I blow a gasket, which I don't think you want to see me do on the air, I will move on to the next top of the morning topic. And the next top of the morning topic, let me see which one what do we have here? What do we have? The Cubs. Wonderful. The Cubs, they fall to the Baltimore Orioles 6-3. Taillon. He can't get it done yet again. He gets the L. He's 2-5 on the season. He went 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 punch out. Tauchman, he hit a home run. He was 1 for 3 with a homer, his first of the season, driving in his 10th of the year. Christopher Morel continues to be Christopher Morel. Okay, another good day by the youngster. He was 1 for 4, hitting his 13th homer of the season, driving in his 27th and 28th RBIs of the year. Cubs are, they're starting to get into that category now where, wait a minute, you should be winning a little more. Why aren't you winning more? I'm not saying they need a 50-game winning streak or have to be 30 over 500. No. But at this particular stage of the game, why are you not winning more? But they have to get that figured out. Because Cub fans on the north side, guess what? They're starting to get antsy now. They're starting to get a little pissy now. You got big ticket players who aren't living up to their contracts, and I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you for being upset. I'm upset on the south side. and my boys. So I understand your frustration, Cub fans. Believe me, I understand it. You got some guys back, so you should have gotten better. But you're flailing away in mediocrity. And as a Cub fan, I feel for you. I feel for all of you. As a Cub fan, I understand. I feel it. I empathize. You can't keep losing all these games now that you've gotten people back. Now that you've gotten, and I get it. Baltimore is in second place. They're 17 games over 500 as well. But man, you got to put up a little more fight. Something. So I don't know. But listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. All right. On the other side of the break, we'll have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Batting average, 9 homers. Hayes at third.
Who hits a high fly ball shallow center. Tuchman has a pretty good arm, tagging his Hayes. Here's the catch. Hayes is going to try to score the throw to the plate. He's going to be out at the plate.
To end the first, and now for the Cubs, Tuchman to lead it off. High fly ball deep into the left field corner. Hayes gone! How about a start to the game for Mike Tuchman? He throws out a runner at home to end the top of the first.
Christopher Morel with an RBI chance.
The 3-1. Swung on and hit. Deep left center field on a line. It's gone! Well, Brett, when you're going good, and the Cubs are red hot right now, you take advantage of other teams' mistakes, and the Orioles gave them an extra out.
And the Cubs take a...
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Peacock. The Cubs just can't seem to move up in the standings. All right, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and you're thinking, okay, great. This is a type of streak of run that you're on that inches you closer to the top. Okay, this is a type of streak. 7-3 in their last 10. Nope. Cubs are still 4 games back. All right, still 4 games back. It doesn't look, nobody wants to run away with the division. All right, the Cubs are in 4th and only four back. Everyone except St. Louis, who looks like they're just done for the season, which is fine. Cub fans will be happy about that. But they just can't seem to gain any legitimate ground. Christopher Morel's still doing great stuff over there. Hitting that 2-run homer to give the Cubs a lead early on. And then the bullpen blowing it. And then, and then this is one people wonder why, or, everybody starts talking about Ross, fire Ross, fire Ross. People have to stop saying fire the manager. Sometimes you have to it falls on the players. The manager can make the right moves. Ozzie said it best. He goes, you got to have great players. If they didn't play for me and win, I wouldn't be a great manager. And that's the bottom line. You look at Phil Jackson. Some people argue he might be the best coach in the history of the NBA. What was it? 3, 6, 9, 11. He got 11 titles as a coach, a couple as a player. But who did he have on those squads? His first three-peat, Michael. His second three-peat, Michael. His third three-peat, Kobe. And then the next back-to-back, Kobe. So you're talking the best in the sport at the time. So players got to play. And it's frustrating when managers catch the heat for players not playing. All right. And sometimes the manager deserves a heat. Yes, they do. But not in this case. David Ross does not deserve any type of smoke. Now, all right, maybe you might not like some of his substitutions, some of his whatever. Okay, fine. It happens. But no manager makes 100% of the moves, correct moves all the time. Nobody does. So spare me. You're going to pick out one move he should have made or you thought should have been different, and you want to fire him for that. Stop being such dumbasses. A whole lot of other words I want to say, but I'm like, let me just stick with dumbasses. Players got to play. You got to play, period. So frustrating as that is, now the Cubs, all right, they travel to Pittsburgh. They have a 3-game set starting today. Okay. At least the Cubs, they know who their star's going to be. Who their stars are going to be for today. Drew Smiley, he's 6-4 on the season with a 3.59 ERA. He's going against Osvaldo Bido. He's 0-0 with a 2.25 ERA. So at least you know that today. Cubs just did a number. On Pittsburgh. Okay. While the Cubs were going 7-3. Cincinnati Reds, they're going 8-2. Milwaukee was losing a little bit of ground. They were 4-6 in their last 10. All right, drawing the Cubs closer, but then you get a, Pittsburgh's drop. Cincinnati's going 8-2 in the last 10. You're not going to gain much ground. So tonight the Cubs got to get back on the horse. That's the great thing about baseball. It's 162 games, so you're playing damn near every single day. First pitch today, 6:05 on the Marquee Network. If you want to catch it on the radio side, 6:70 a.m. The White Sox, I didn't do this for them. The White Sox, they're going to be on NBC Sports Chicago. First pitch at 7:10 p.m. and 1,000 a.m. on the radio side. So both of our teams, I think we're going to do something because there's not a lot to talk about. Bulls are done. Basketball season's over. The hockey season's over, although there is some excitement. Okay, the NHL draft is coming up, and so we're all anticipating the Chicago Blackhawks taking Connor Bedard with the number 1 pick, but also, and that's what next week, the draft, the 28th and 29th. Okay, so we got nothing this week. Everyone's anticipating, and it would be a crime if the Blackhawks did not take Connor Bedard. If you see my brand new Blackhawks hat that I got. And then they're hoping for something else. They have 2 firsts, I think 4 seconds, and then a first and 2 seconds next year. Or 2 firsts and 2 seconds. I got to double check. They got a lot of picks. I'm hoping they take one of their second round or trade one of their second round picks next year, package that with the second first round pick that they have, and jump right back into the top 3 or 5 and go get 2 generational talents. Let's talk about, the talent you can have, the talent that you can do because you have all that draft capital. Fantilli's is one of the other centers in there. You jump back up to 2 or 3. If you can get him, now you're stacking your lines with phenomenal players. Now what that's going to do? That's going to get people interested. That's going to bring attention to this Chicago Blackhawks organization. For all my Canadian folks out there. And maybe it's going to want to bring a Patrick Kane back home. Maybe it's going to want to have another gunner, scorer. Say, hey, I think I want to go there. I think I want to sign there in the offseason. Because their contracts, they should be slotted if I'm not mistaken. So the rookie deal is not going to be that much. So you're going to have, you'll have some cap space there. Tay's retired. You have a whole bunch. Everyone's gone. All the big ticket, except for Seth Jones that you just signed. Other than that, there's really nobody there as far as big ticket players. So you'll be able to get these kids on a contract, and you may be able to give a free agent contract to a scorer, a lethal hired assassin. But I digress. How do we get there? Oh, I was talking about because there was nothing on except the draft. And that's next week. There's nothing. We can't keep just talking about the Cubs. Anyway, next top of the morning topic. The Sky. Chicago Sky, they fall to the DC Mystics yesterday. It was just a bad day for Chicago sports yesterday, wasn't it? Just horrible. Horrible. What's even, I shouldn't say funny. I'm not going to say funny because it's not. But what's interesting is Morgan Birch led the team. She led the ladies. 16 points, 7 rebounds. Mabry had 11 points. Kalia Copper contributed 8. You know, the thing that we're looking at with the Sky is they're devoid of top tier talent. Top tier talent. All right. When Candace Parker left, Courtney Vandersloot left, Annie Quigley left, they took a lot of talent, a lot of exposure, a lot of experience with them. You know, one of your signings, Courtney Williams in the offseason. Courtney Williams and Dana Evans yesterday had a combined 5 points. 5 points for those two. 5 points. 5 points. 3 rebounds and 9 assists between the two of them. There's your answer right there. You cannot, I don't care what level of basketball you're talking, except on just rare occasions. If you don't have good guard play, you're going to lose. Period. You're going to lose. Poor guard play, or guard play dictates the way you run your how your team is going to do. And when your two guards combine for 5 points, 5 assists, 6 assists, what? No, Courtney Williams had 6. Dana Evans had 3. 9 assists. Okay, great. 9 assists between 2 people. 2 guards. This is where they need to start. This is where they need to focus their attention is on the guard play. Because you want Elizabeth Williams, you want Alana Smith, you want Kalia Copper, you want Birch, you want these guys to start doing well. You need to have good guard play. You need to get them the ball. You need to move the ball. We need a point guard who can facilitate, a point guard who can run the show, and that's what the Sky just don't seem to have. Or if they do, they have an inconsistent one. Is it Dana Evans who's the guard now, the point guard, or Courtney Williams? Well, this inconsistent play from both of them has to stop. It has to improve. Their play has to improve. No ifs, ands, or buts. You get solid guard play, this team can compete. But they don't have solid guard play. They don't. So you know what? This team's not going to compete. I hate to break it to you, but that's just the way it is. Think of all the good teams. They all have good guard play. They all do. And with the inconsistency there for the Sky, it's going to be a long season. Just 2 seasons ago. Last season, we were in the conference. We were in the semifinals. Okay, I turned this phone off. What the heck? I swore. Apparently, I didn't. I thought I did. We're in the conference. We were in the semifinals last year. We won the chip the year before, and now it looks like we might be in for a rough patch. Let's go with that. Let's call it a rough patch for a while. James Wade's got to do a much better job of getting these ladies ready. He's got to talk to these guards, period. You signed Courtney Williams. All right. You gave Dana a little more bigger role now. We were asking for her last year. So these girls got to deliver. All right. And the thing is here, it's a 2-for-1. All right. He's the head coach and the general manager. So it's not like the GM can fire him. Coach Wade is the dude who makes the decision. He buys the groceries and he cooks the dinner. So, yeah. That is Vernon, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Sox fan allowed to say fire the manager. Yeah. 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 No, it's not a phone with a cord, you knucklehead. Nomad. It's a ringtone. No one has a phone with a cord. Actually, no, we do have one. It's hanging up in the hallway. That actually works. But no, the one that's ringing is my cell. See, I'm repping Sports Zone Chicago at all times. No, I wanted that. I just like that old school ring. Everybody has their own ringtones or whatever they want. You have a plethora to choose from. I know you're busting balls, bro. You don't take. Stop. No thin skin over here, Papa. We're straight. Good morning, brother. I hope things are well. But as far as the sky, man, I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. And the next top of the morning topic, this one's going to be huge, and this is a big one. And we're going to be able to talk to Adam Shalafu at 11 o'clock. But a big blockbuster trade yesterday in the NBA occurred. Bradley Beal is going to the land of the sun. Bradley Beal is being traded from the Washington Wizards, Bullets, they're the Wizards, but if you remember them, the Bullets, just kind of an homage to you. Bradley Beal is going to the Phoenix Suns, where he's going to join forces. So now we have another super team. All right, are you ready? Super teams. Can we get more? Jesus. Whew. Let's go with KD and Devin Booker. That's a nice squad. That's a nice squad. But my question is this: who's going to facilitate? Who's going to facilitate? That is the question. All right, just real quickly going back, in the trade to Washington, Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a couple of pick swaps and a couple of second-round picks because Phoenix doesn't have any first-round picks, so they just gave him a couple of seconds. So everyone's going to jump on the Phoenix bandwagon, like, oh, Phoenix is the best because they're coming out of the West, but blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, slow down. Slow down, man. If you don't get someone to facilitate, if you don't get someone to run that show, I just got done telling you with the sky. If you don't have good guard play, it doesn't matter. You want Devin Booker bringing the ball up all the time? Okay. Watch the scoring get affected. Because now you have another 20-plus point scorer in Bradley Beal like, oh, no, I need to eat. I mean, I may not have to lead the team in scoring, but I need to eat. KD needs to get his. Is he going to bring the ball up? We know Bradley Beal ain't bringing the ball up. So getting these superstars is nice, it's great, but you have to fill in the cracks. You got to get the role players. You need a good point guard. You need a good three-point shooter. You need good rebounds. You need a good rim protector. You need a team. Not just 3 stars, 3 superstars. You don't need those. Oh, let me tell you, you do need those, but you need other guys just as importantly. Because 3 stars without role players, not a good team. A team with role players with no superstars, not a good team. So before you go and rush to your phone and make a bet on DraftKings or FanDuel or wherever it is you bet, sports gamble, you better wait and see what Phoenix gets, who they get. Now, if Chris Paul was not part of the trade, I say be freaking worried to a point. Chris Paul would run that squad efficiently. He'd have it running like a well-oiled machine, but then he'd get hurt. Then he'd get hurt. And then when you need him in the playoffs, he'd be out. Excuse me. I like this trade, but it's not. I am not putting them in the NBA Finals. Nope. Nope. Cameron Payne. Man, he's gotten so much better. Remember he was a joke? All he was what Russell Westbrook's dance partner at OKC. He was a joke. He was a joke here. He wasn't effective here. Phoenix, he found a home. Yeah, CP3. But I was just reading that I read this today. Was it in this trade? CP3 might not even. No, it wasn't here. CP3 might not even end up going back to Washington. I think Washington's going to reroute him to the Clippers. That's what I was reading earlier. Son of a biscuit. I thought I saved it. So CP3 is probably not even going to make Washington. And you know what? Coming to the Bulls, I think that'd be great. But he ain't going to stay healthy. We can't count on him staying healthy. Nice seeing everyone last night. Where'd you see him? Did you do a show last night, Nomad? Anyway, hit me up. Let me know. Yeah, so I'm excited. I want to see Phoenix, but I want to see if they get a point guard. This, unfortunately, leads back to our Bulls. You know, every time something happens in the NBA, it leads back to our Bulls. Denver Nuggets win the championship. That ties directly into the Bulls. Directly. Arturas Karnisovas constructed the Denver Nuggets. He built that team. We were hoping he could build it, another team just like it. We're hoping he was the Theo Epstein of the NBA. Apparently, he's not. I'll put it this way. Not yet. Not yet. So, there's a lot going on. So, we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, it's going to be time for my rant. Time for my White Sox rant. I've really, at this stage of the game, I'm just going for giveaways. That's it. I'm only going for giveaways. So if I see next Saturday or this Saturday, I have to find someone to go for me. They're giving away basketball jerseys. It's pretty cool. You may have seen them. The black with with the White Sox on them. Remember 2 years ago in 2021, they gave away white basketball jerseys that were actually supposed to be given away in 2020. Okay, but due to COVID, they had them for an extra year. So in 2021, they had a whole shitload of extra. They doubled up on giveaways that year in 2021, and one of them was the basketball jersey. So I need that. I can't go to the Sox game this Saturday because I'm working the football camp, DJ Moore football camp. To meet DJ Moore this weekend. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. That'll be pretty fun. So, but other than that, I just have to see when the White Sox have pretty cool giveaways because that's the only time I'm going to the game. And I'll tell you what, I am not tailgating. I'll put it this way. I'm not parking. I'll tailgate. Okay? But I'm not parking. I'm not giving you $30. I will go park somewhere down 35th Street, hop the bus, join the tailgate, get my giveaway, hop the bus back to my car, and head on wherever the hell I'm heading on after that. Because I got an app that, let's see, for tonight's game, White Sox ticket, there's $8 ticket for a game tonight. The cheapest are $7. So if they had a cool giveaway, I might continue to go. I might continue, man. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk. I'm going to talk about these good guys because they're pissing me off. So do me a favor. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Off the fake. Fields against the grain. Finds Jesse James. Field. With time. Delivers down the field. Fake one way. Fields stumbling. Trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Everybody in a work zone is someone's somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
Order up. Thank you. When I want to give up, I try to focus on getting to the next minute, then the next hour, and the next day.
It might not seem like it right now, but there are people out there like me who want to listen and support you for the long haul.
And I found someone to talk to, someone who listened.
You are not alone.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Back after giving up 2 in the third. He strikes out the side in the fourth. 9 punchies.
Close to 1 off that.
Swing and a miss. 11 strikeouts for Lance. He did that here last September, and that's a new season high. Top of the 6th.
And a first pitch line drive to left from the bottom of the order, and Elvis Andrus should be extra bases for the first time today for the Sox. Andrew Benintendi, who's seen only 3 pitches so far today. He's seen 4 now, and that's scorched right by Wong. Here comes Elvis. The Sox are on the board.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. That were the good guys getting their asses kicked, getting asses handed to them again. Man, oh man. Oh man. Frustrating. as always. You know, just when you think they're about to turn the corner, just when you think, all right, maybe I can start following them and getting back on track, you know, they do this nonsense. Just nonsense. Well, the White Sox, you know, they piss me off to the nth degree. Okay, and I told you why this was precipitated, or why it was egging me on. Texas Rangers come to town. Okay, the Texas Rangers come to town, and they are leading the AL West. All right, 44-27, 620 winning percentage, Texas Rangers, and they are led by the manager Bruce Bochy. He is a surefire Hall of Fame manager. Surefire. And the reason I'm upset about this is a couple of things. One, we could have had this guy. We could have had this guy. He was out of a job. Sox were looking, and we could have had him. But there's one small problem about us acquiring Bruce Bochy. Okay, one small problem. One small, insignificant, probably problem. We didn't interview him. We steered clear from him. We steered clear from him. And this reinforced everything. Everything for me. And I'd said it before. And now this again. You know, sometimes you get the same situations. You know, when people date the same type of person their whole life? It's because they don't get it. Like, all right, this is the type of person the next person you can't date. Because you're going to be chances to date another type of this person who's wrong for you. And if you continue to do that, you're going to stay in your rut. And if you say, hey, listen, no, I need a different type of person, then your life's going to be better. The White Sox have done this to us, to their fans. And they've made it pretty clear. They do not want a veteran manager. They do not want a good manager. They want someone they can control. I'll repeat that. They want someone they can control. Because if you look back, Ricky Renteria gets the gig here. Now, granted, he had managerial experience, but he was by no means considered a great manager. So you hire him. He's your puppet. You can make moves that way. Why do you think that they're very adamant about not hiring Ozzie again? Why? Because you know, and I know damn well Ozzie is not going to be a puppet. You and I both know that. Whether Sox fan, Cubs fan, just a baseball person, you know damn well Ozzie is not taking his lineup from Rick Hahn. Because Rick Hahn, what the fuck do you know about creating a lineup? What do you know about creating a lineup? Now, as far as talent evaluation, you've been pretty good. As far as moves, you've been pretty good. As far as negotiating, you've been pretty good. Signing those 4 players to contracts that, if they live up to them, had they lived up to them, they would have been vastly underpaid. But they haven't lived up to them. Where's the development here? That's my next part. Where's the development? Where's the accountability? Why haven't we been able to get somebody up here whose baseball IQ is higher? And all they need is experience. We bring up Zach Remillard. The guy's a lifelong minor leaguer. 29 years old, made his debut. What did he do? 3 for 3. How did he get the game winning? He got the game tying and the game winning hit in his debut. Well, why? Zach Remillard is the only Major League Baseball player in the modern era since 1900 to have both a game tying hit and a go-ahead hit in the 9th or later in his Major League debut. Because this guy seems fundamentally sound. His game winning hit in the 10th, I think it was, or 11th, was opposite field. Now, Tim Anderson does this well. But right now, Tim Anderson's all fucked in the head. He is beyond messed up in the head right now. Beyond. And for good reason. Just had a kid out of wedlock. And trust me, he has to. Does he see the kid? Has he seen the kid? I don't know. But if he has, he's got to bring him home. He's got to bring this kid home. You don't think his wife is going to have an issue or going to feel some sort of way about this? Having a bastard child in the house that you're creeping on me with? So Tim is all messed up in the head. But I digress. Rick Hahn has been one hell of a salesman. The problem with the Chicago White Sox is ego. It's freaking ego. Jerry has his ego. He owns the team. Okay, fine. No problem. I get it. It's your squad. Then Kenny's got an ego. Gets lightning in the bottle in 05. We go wire to wire, win the World Series. Ozzy's a cult hero. Ozzy's a superstar, not Kenny, but Kenny still has his ego. Because he did technically put this team together. He technically was the dude who hired Ozzie Guillen. So yes, understandable. Annoying? Yes. Understandable? Yes as well. And now you have Rick Hahn, who was his ego. He assessed all this talent. The number one prospect in the minor leagues, Yoan Moncada, gets him to Chicago in the Chris Sale deal. Chris Sale, Lucas Giolito, Michael Kopech, Eloy Jimenez, got him from the Cubs. All this talent that he's got, that he acquired. All for the Adam Dunn deal, for Chris Sale. Not Adam Dunn, Adam Eaton, Chris Sale. And even I said he should have been arrested for grand larceny in the Adam Eaton deal to the Washington Nationals. Should have been. Gets all this talent. And the Sox have the best minor league, the best farm system in baseball. Then they bring him up. You have Ricky Renteria, who you think is not going to be the guy. Okay, no problem. I get it. I don't have a problem with that. But then then Jerry steps in with his ego and says, oh, listen, because I can, we're hiring Tony La Russa. Just took the legs right off from underneath Rick Hahn. Don't worry about a search. We're hiring Tony La Russa. Say what you want to the media, make it look good, but we're hiring Tony La Russa, my buddy. Because he should have gotten fired back in 84 or 87 with Hawk Harrelson as the GM. Shouldn't have been fired back then, so it's a make good. We saw how that went. That imploded in our face. So Rick Hahn, why he stayed, I don't know. Because Jerry shouldn't have meddled in that decision making. That decision. He shouldn't. You're not a GM. You did it because you own the team and no one can say shit to you. So now that's where his ego comes in. So now Rick Hahn has the opportunity to get a manager. So for aesthetic purposes, he interviews Ozzy. Not a lot of other, he interviews some other, I should say, not a lot of other, there's some other decent names, but no Bruce Bochy? What about Joe Girardi? You know why he didn't interview those guys? Because those guys are not puppets. Those guys are not yes men. Those guys will say, shut the hell up. I'm putting this lineup together. This is my deal. I'm the manager. I can assess talent on the field better than you can. Rick Hahn's ego just got in his way big time. Because what have I been saying? You shouldn't have gotten a rookie manager with an underperforming veteran team. Griffol's trying to be a disciplinarian, but now you got Tim Anderson, whose mind is God knows where it's at. All right, we have the highest chase rate in Major League Baseball. You're not sitting people down for that. You sit Luis Robert down for one game for not hustling. This is back to Ricky Renteria. But you don't sit anyone else down? Come on, man. And I told you the red flag for me was Jump Street. Remember when Tim Anderson got kicked out for yelling at the ump? And Pedro didn't do anything about it. He let Tim Anderson get kicked out. I said, watch that. That was my red flag for him. He failed his first test. I said, Tim, you yelling at the ump is not going to change the fact that I believe he struck out on a pitch timer, a pitch clock violation or something like that. But that's not going to change the situation. You can call him a dumb MF, a hoe, a bitch, or whatever you want to call him. You can call him whatever you want. That's not going to change the fact that you are out. That's where Griffol lost me. Or when I started giving him the eye. So now everyone's talking about, well, now we got to trade. We had Bob Nightingale on here a week and a half ago. He's like, blow it up. Blow it up. TA, Lucas Giolito. He said, TA's the first dude. But no one wants TA right now. Actually, I'm sure some team, maybe the Dodgers. You get him in a winning organization, get him out of Chicago, leave his wife and baby mama here. Could be beneficial. Great. TA goes to the Dodgers and then wins a World Series. Great. It says F you to Chicago. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that how this would play out? So the egos of all these gentlemen have gotten in the way. Because Rick Hahn, you could have hired Bruce Bochy. He wanted the job. You could have hired Ozzy. You know damn well he wanted the job. You could have hired Joe Girardi. There's so many people you could have hired. But you go and get Pedro Grifol because this is a guy you can control. There's no accountability. Luis Robert looks lost. At times he looks great. This is how great Luis Robert is. He's having a good season, and he still looks like shit some of the times. His approach is horrible, pulling head off the ball, swinging at stuff down and away, the tail's further down and away. Yo-yo again. Like, you got to corral these people in. You got superstars in the making. You have potential superstars, 4 of them on your team, at least. And you don't have a manager to pull it out of them. You have other guys who are willing to be, who are on the verge of being stars or being very, very good role players. And you can't get it out of them. Andrew Vaughn. I like this kid. Despite all that, he's still having a decent year. Gavin Sheets, Elvis, all these guys are willing to, they want to be role players, but for whatever reason, they just can't get it pulled out of them by a manager. As a manager, your job is to motivate and get the best out of your players. As a manager, head coach, position coach, whatever. But all this is because of ego. All this. And it's frustrating because this guy comes in, Bruce Bochy comes into town with the second best record in the American League. Think of what he could have done with this. Think of what Ozzie could have done with this team. Ozzie told you, he begged, he's like, dude, nobody knows this team better than me. He goes, you might have better managers out there. Probably give him respect to people like Bochy and Madden and those guys, but nobody knows this team better than me because I watch them 150 times a year. And he was right. That's why people hate Ozzie, because Ozzie don't give a shit. He will tell you what he feels. He'll tell you his thoughts. He'll tell you the truth. He don't need to lie. And that's what the Sox team does. This organization doesn't want. They don't want anyone telling the truth. They want a puppet that they can control. As a fan base, this is what you want? This, as a fan base, is what you want? Like, I'm done. I'm so frustrated. So don't come at me. No, Rick Hahn, you're part of the problem too. Your ego. And I said it remember? I said it last year or earlier this year. Get Ozzie. I said, okay, Bochy or Girardi was we could have had Girardi or Madden. Give me a veteran manager. That's what I was asking all offseason before they signed. Give me a veteran manager. Give me a veteran manager. And we had one. He's at a pre and post every day, or 150 of the year. We have them, but nope. And they say, here's what they say. And watch this with people in life. When they deflect and they'll bring up, oh, Ozzie's a wild card. We don't know what he's going to say to the media. Yeah, he's going to, his shtick runs. It's going to wear out soon. Okay, good. But by the time his shtick runs out, you're probably deep in the playoffs, if not in the World Series or a World Series title. By the time his shtick runs out again. He'll be our Billy Martin. For the Yankees. Remember, Billy Martin got hired by the Yankees, 17 times to manage them? Cornelius, no. 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 Mashawn, you're talking, yes, they have the highest chase rate. That can be worked on. You can coach that. You can teach that. Too much money? Yep. No, you're damn right. Why do you think he's not selling unless he's forced to sell? You're right. Nobody sells him. That's money he's making. That's guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. He gets you on the, we're going to rebuild. How many more rebuilds do we have to go through? How many more do we need to go through for us to get back to be perennial playoff contenders? We've never been a perennial playoff contender. We're the Focus was, you know what? We're going to make the playoffs. How deep are we going to go is the only question. We've never felt like that. We felt like that this year. We're like, oh, we're getting into the playoffs. And then look. And look. And I'll say this. Most of Sox Nation didn't feel that way. Some did. I was one of them. Like, okay, we'll do better. We got a new manager, blah, blah. But you know what? It's tough when you let the inmates run the asylum. So, Rakan, you're as guilty as anybody in all this shit that's going on 35th and Shields. You're as complicit as anybody. Even more so because you had the chance to make a difference. You had a chance to do something different. You had a chance to make a decision without letting your ego affect it, and you didn't do it. You saw what ego did. Ego fucked you first time 2 years ago when they brought in Tony because Jerry said, it's my team. I'm going to make this call, and Tony's the manager. His ego. You got fucked over then, and now you're fucking us over? I guess the old saying, shit slides downhill. Because you had a chance to break that cycle. You had a chance to get the best manager available. You mean to tell me this is the best manager available for the White Sox? Come on, man. Come on now. You get the best manager that fits. Pedro's not the best manager that fits the White Sox. The best manager to get them to the World Series. He's the best manager that fits for you to control. That's what it is. And that's how he fits here in the White Sox organization. You can control him. And he let the cat out of the bag the other day. They asked him about his lineups, and he asked him about all this stuff, and he got frustrated. He said, you know what? Go ask Tony. Or Jerry. I'm sorry. Go ask Jerry. What is that telling you? That's telling you that the lineups are coming from upstairs. Which is done a lot in baseball, but you get a Bruce Bochy, you get a Joe Girardi, you get an Ozzie Guillen. Those managers aren't coming from upstairs, or those lineups aren't coming from upstairs. They're coming from the manager. And Pedro just rolled the curtain back on everything. And a lot of people knew this. A lot of people knew it. Why do you think GMs, why do you think they've devalued the manager so much? Why do you think there are very few managers getting $3, $4, $5, $7 million a year? Because the little nerdy boys in the front office think the GM is the most important part, is the superstar. I can create a lineup, I just got to look at the stats. I got to look at the metrics. I'll create the lineup. And real baseball managers are saying, the fuck you will. That's what real baseball managers would say, which is why a lot of them are having a tough time getting a job. But not Bochy. Not Bochy. He comes in boasting the second best record in the American League with his team atop the AL West. So you let you let pride get in the way of this White Sox team achieving its fullest potential. Now, don't get me wrong, the players got to perform. They have to. But you also have to have somebody there to make sure if they're not doing what's necessary to be the best team in baseball, that they need to have some repercussions. They need to have somebody in there who, when he walks in, has a pedigree, has a respect immediately. Why? Because I've won a World Series or 2 or 3. So it's my way or the highway. Do you want to win a World Series? Or do you want to keep winning Gold Gloves, which you ain't going to win anymore, batting titles, which you ain't going to win anymore, Silver Sluggers, which you ain't going to win anymore? Are you happy with all those? Or do you want to hoist the World Series trophy in late October, early November? What do you want to do? Rick Hahn, Jerry Reinsdorf, Kenny Williams, all your egos are what sunk this White Sox team. We had one of the most talented teams in Major League Baseball, and you ruined it. You ruined it. Because your fucking ego got in the way. We're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery because now I'm fired up. I'm fired up because it's bullshit how people, I don't understand how people just allow their ego and when it's an organization, like everything, you have to live and coexist. Even Michael couldn't do it by himself. He needed Jerry Krause. He needed Crumbs. He needed Pippen. He needed Paxton. He needed B.J. Armstrong. He needed Stacey King. He needed Horace Grant. He needed Luke Longley and Bill Cartwright and Steve Kerr. He needed them to win the title. And these guys are so arrogant, they think they can put together a team and they're the guys? No. We're going to be back with Eric Lambert. Keep it locked right here with some Bears talk. Shawn and I in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago because you got me fired the hell up, my freaking White Sox.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JCoinReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information on my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoinreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoin.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
You're right. Jones definitely wants to see more play action continue to be called.
Here's one floated for Smith, and it's picked. Brisker, the rookie. Rookie Treston Ebner is in there along with Herbert. Little play action from Fields, and he fires over the middle. Pass is caught to the 39-yard line. Blitz. Fields throws to Herbert. Has blocking. Has a touchdown.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. The looks of courtesy of ESPN. Those were the good guys. That was the last win of the season. What was it, October? The last one of the season. And I'll tell you what, the funny part is like, even though they haven't won since October, this is still the most exciting team and the most talked about team in the NFL. Okay. People are leery of this team. You understand it. And they damn well should be ready. Trust me. They should be leery of the Chicago Bears team. My first guest today, I'm excited to have him on. He's a lead Bears writer for Sports Mockery, and his dude pumps out about 2.5 Chicago Bears articles a day. So if you want to read Chicago Bears, you just go to Sports Mockery, and he has about 14,376 Bears articles for this season. You can find him on Twitter at Eric Lambert1. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Eric Lambert. Eric, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Good to see you again, Shawn. It's been a while.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking time out from one of your 2.5 articles today to join me.
Happy to.
It's great to have you, man. We're excited. All right. We're excited. And I want to know, are you excited? All right. Are you happy with the draft? Are you happy with the moves that they made? Are you happy with the reports that are coming out of Hallis Hall? Are you happy with the chemistry of justice of number 1 and number 2? Are you happy with the defense? Are you happy, not content or satisfied, but just happy with the way this offseason has gone to this day, June 19th, 2023?
All things being considered, yes, I am. I think they addressed as many things as they possibly could have, and they did it responsibly. They didn't get reckless. They made sound, logical decisions. They built around Justin. They got him a receiver. They got him more depth. They got him a right tackle that I think is going to be really good in this league. And they addressed the defense with with maybe not a lot of star power, but a lot of volume. They're deeper. They're more athletic. They're younger. They're faster. And I mean, that's a great thing. Yes, they could have done some other things that you wish they could have, but, under the circumstances, there was no way they were going to be able to address everywhere. So what the moves they did make, I think they made them a better team, and I really like the direction they're heading, even if they might not be a contender this year.
Okay. Wow. You don't think they'll be a contender? Why do you say that when there's flux in Green Bay? And I know Jordan Love started a couple of games, but Aaron Rodgers is gone. Detroit, probably going to Detroit. Actually, they've Detroited themselves already. How many guys are suspended for gambling to start the season? All right. In Minnesota, they're just trading. I know you got Justin Jefferson, and he is a freaking stud. But you just traded away your best running back / in Dalvin Cook. And Kirk Cousins himself a lot. So why do you think that the Bears aren't going to be contenders? Because if the other teams do like we feel they may do, the Bears have a legitimate shot to get this division, which would be shocking, and which would be surprising, but definitely not out of reach.
I'm not saying they can't make the playoffs. I do think they have enough there to be a wild card team. I predicted they'd go 8-9, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. You get a couple wins here and there that maybe you didn't expect. Absolutely, but the division. I think the division is the Lions to lose, even despite all this nonsense with the gambling stuff. I still think they're a really good football team in terms of talent. They showed a lot last year. They went on a tear down the stretch. So I think it's their division to lose because I think Minnesota's going to take a step back. Green Bay, I'm not a big believer in Jordan Love, but you just don't know in regards. They still have a good roster. They can still run the ball. They still have a solid defense. So they can still be a threat, even though the quarterback position is probably going to take a step back. So, I still think the Bears have a mountain to climb in the division. And I think the NFC East is going to be really tough. They might have 3 playoff teams again, and I think Washington, you never know with them. Ron Rivera is a good coach. They have a good roster. If Sam Howell can play decent at quarterback, they might be a threat too. So, the NFC is not nearly as strong as the AFC, but it's still a tough conference in a number of ways. But I absolutely think that if the Bears have a few things go right as they expect they should go right, they absolutely can be in the mix.
Okay. I guess you and I are different. I think they're definitely going to fight for the title. It'll be a 3-team race. And may the best team win. I just think I love Detroit. The culture that Dan Campbell has created and established there. That can't go without factoring into how they're going to play. You're right. They've had some big wins. They feel like they're trying to stop being the Detroit Lions, which is what's best for them. But I just think at some point they're going to revert back to it. We'll see. I hope so, but they're hoping not. Talk to me about the draft. We'll get to each side of the ball in a minute, but talk to me about the draft because we haven't spoken, since before the draft. Darnell Wright, stud. Okay, talk to me about how you feel about everyone else. The 2 second-round picks. All right, the D tackles, the defensive backs that they got, the linebackers. Talk to me about the draft. Are you happy with it? How much is it going to help the defense? Because it's pretty defense heavy as far as the draft goes. Talk to me about how you feel about this draft class for the Bears.
The great thing about this draft class is it seems to have uniformity in a number of specific ways: size, athleticism, violence, and intensity. A lot of these players reflect all of those traits, which is something that the Bears have really stayed on point about with Eberflus and Poles. They've said they want these types of players, and now that's reflecting in the draft. Gervon Dexter, really solid run defender right out of the gate. So you're getting that with him. But when you watch some of his tape, you see the glimpses of somebody that can actually be a legitimate interior pass rusher. And it sounds like already the Bears have started to adjust the way he plays in terms of his stance, elongating the way he comes out with his burst. And it's showing in some of his plays in camp, and that he's getting immediate pressure on the interior. So if he's turning into that type of player that they envision, they immediately got the possible 3 technique that you need for this defense to run properly. And then you've got Zach Pickens, who can be a rotational guy on top of that. He's already got, the interior pass rush potential locked down. He just wasn't utilized quite that way much at South Carolina. It's the similar issue Dexter had with Florida. So, they're entering a defense that fits them both really well, which is always something you like to see. Tyreek Stevenson, we're already hearing, the stories about him in camp. And, the more you watch him on tape from Miami, you start to realize, oh, man, this guy can actually play. He's big, he's long, he's athletic, he plays violent, and his ball skills really started to improve towards the end of his time there at Miami, which is something you always love to see. So he's another guy who seems to be entering a system that fits his play style really well. And it's already showing up in the way he plays in camp. And I'm also a big fan of Terrell Smith, their other cornerback that they drafted. I think he's a great fit. Yeah, I think he's a great fit as well. Yeah. So you get 2 guys that can play outside like that. So you've got you're 3 deep already with Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith. Yeah, they're rookies, but I really like the way they've approached the cornerback position. They're young, they're deep, and they're athletic. So, if they can get any kind of pass rush, I think you're going to see quite a few big plays made by this secondary going into this season. So really encouraged by that. And I'm also a big fan of the Noah Sewell draft pick as well. I think,
talk to me about him. Yeah. Cause where could he fit because of the 2 linebacker signings? Let us know what your thoughts on him.
He was an inside linebacker at Oregon, but unfortunately they underwent a bit of a scheme shift, his final year there. He was playing really, really good football in 2021. And there were rumblings that he could be a first round pick if it continued that way. And then as can be the case with so many young players, they switched coaching staffs, they switched schemes, and he had to sort of adjust. He still played well. He just didn't play quite at the level that he did the year before. And I think that affected his draft stock, unfortunately. And there were some injuries as well, which sort of impacted his overall range and coverage. And that kind of showed up at times. And that may have worked against him as well. But now he's healthy. And you're seeing in certain clips and hearing some things that he's making plays in coverage. And that shouldn't be surprising because he was doing that in 2021 when he was healthy. So if he's healthy now and he's adjusting well to the outside linebacker spot, I think he's got a legitimate chance to compete with Sanborn for that starting job. And that would be, really encouraging if he starts to return towards that form that he had a couple of years ago.
Guys, we're joined by our guy, Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery, talking Chicago Bears football right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. One of the things I do like about that is I like him off the edge, because I'm imagining a NASCAR package, you know, just because he already has rushed off the edge at times. So this is nothing new to him. He is violent. He is, you know, for me, he's not as speedy as some guys. His film study though is good, because he's that dude who is. I've said this before. He's not the dude that's going to tackle you, but he's the dude that you don't want to cut back on one too many times, because he's coming to earhole you. And if you've ever been earholed, trust me, that is not fun. And he gets there in a nasty mood. So I'm excited to see how they use him. Obviously, he'll be used on special teams and other stuff, but I want to see how they do that with him. One of the people here, my guy Hassan, wanted to know, what about the edge? Anyone standing out on the edge? You know, remember they did sign that sneaky. I think is really sneaky is Terrell Lewis, the kid from Alabama, a couple of years ago. But anyone else standing out on the edge to this point?
Apparently there have been some good flashes from Dominique Robinson, which is what you want to hear after the, you know, frustrating end to the season he had. You know, he openly admitted that, you know, he kind of got lax with his technique, because after that first game where he really popped and played well, he felt, oh, I got this figured out, you know, and then he started running into professional tackles who started to study his film and figure him out. He started to realize
film study.
Yeah, he started to realize, I might not have this quite figured out. And then he played Philadelphia against their tackles, and he was pretty much run out of the building. So once that happened, it was kind of his rock bottom and his true welcome to the NFL mentality moment. And he really started to, you know, get more serious about his technique. He played a little bit better down the stretch, and it seems he's really been focusing on that this offseason, and it's been showing up a bit, you know, during early drills. So it's going to be really fun to see him in the pads and see what he's learned. And I think Travis Gibson is going to be somebody who sort of rebounds from last year. He had to switch schemes again. He was really frustrated that he missed out on a lot of sacks he should have had. So it's, you know, it sounds like they've got some nice depth working, but it still feels like they're one piece away from being a unit that can at least be respectable. So I guess we're going to find out, you know, I think joint practices will also be really telling for them going up against that Colts offensive line. It'll be really beneficial to see where they're at, and then see if Poles and Eberflus feel like another move needs to be made.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that because what happens in camp is like you go against the same guys. All right, and even if it is, you know, 100-man roster right now, you're still going against the same guys for the most part. So you get to know their strengths, you get to know their weaknesses. You can attack, you know, their weaknesses, and you know, if they can't stop it, you look like a stud. Well, yeah, now different, fresh meat. Right. You got to figure it out on the fly, because you're not going to be looking at tape for preseason, you know, in preparation for inter squad practices. So that's gonna tell a lot. Obviously, the biggest thing is Justin. All right, he's the straw that stirs this drink. Talk to me about his upgrades, and how do you feel about him? How do you feel? There's tons that you've written a few articles. Coaches are talking good about him. Players are talking good about him. Players are excited about him. Coaches are excited about him. How do you feel Justin feels? Or I know it's maybe a stupid question. Do you think he takes a big step forward? Because that's a stupid question. And if you do, how big of a step do you think he takes forward this year with all the additional help on the line and the backfield and on the edges that he has?
Very encouraged so far from what I've been hearing. And there are two reasons. One, it sounds like he's starting to take more tight window throws, which was a problem I felt he had last year. He would hold the ball rather than taking a shot and giving his receiver a chance to, you know, make a play in a tight window. He really didn't seem to trust himself in the scheme, which is normal from a young quarterback. And unfortunately, that led to his low passing yardage and his tendency to run more often. And it sounds more like he's really sticking in the pocket, really trying to take some of these throws, and it's really working out. He's making some really nice throws to DJ Moore. He really seems to trust DJ Moore with his release off the line, his ability to gain separation, which, you know, it was exactly why the Bears traded for him. And, you know, he's been doing this without two of his other targets, Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney, who are nursing injuries. So he's not even at full strength yet in terms of his arsenal. So you always like to see that. And one thing that really stood out about me was on one of his throws, I think it was to Robert Tonyan for a touchdown in one of the practices. And he said, and he literally broke down how that play unfolded. He saw Eddie Jackson in coverage, and he knew Eddie from studying Eddie throughout the practices, throughout the film, what Eddie was probably going to do depending on what Justin was going to throw. So he would use his eyes to sort of manipulate where Eddie was going to sit. And then he threw the ball to only where Robert Tonyan had a shot at it. Tonyan makes a great grab for a touchdown. And it's that sort of ability to identify, process, and then make the throw in a short period of time that you always need to see from your quarterback. And the fact that Justin is doing this in practice, and we saw glimpses of it last year, that has me the most encouraged about where he's going, because we know he can run. We already know that. That's been established, but he's been really working on his ability to process from the pocket, and it's showing up already in practices, and it's not even training camp yet. So that's why I think Justin is going to take a step forward. How big of a step? Really depends on how good his protection is. I think his protection will be better. I think the moves the Bears made will really help with that. I have him around 3,500 passing yards, probably around 25 to 26 touchdown passes. If he can keep it around 10 interceptions, I think that'd be an outstanding year from him in terms of a step up. So if he can do that, and I think he can, and he still has his running capability, I think he's going to have a really good year.
Is that the catch that was on social media, the one-handed grab from Tonyan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one-hander.
That's interesting that you picked that out and you say that, because we have Eric Kramer on here. He comes on every Monday, but he was on last week, I want to say. And he's talked about not just that particular time he was on. He talked about being able to manipulate and move people.
Right.
And that's, Eric's a former NFL quarterback, former Chicago Bear. And that's his, obviously that's one of the biggest things that you need to do is to become a great quarterback. One, to get people out of the way that you don't want there. And before you even you got to make the great throw, because you don't want 2-on-1 not in your favor. That's definitely not it. So the fact that you're mentioning it, other people are mentioning it, and this is what Eric has been saying to us, all last season, and he said it again last week, is a really, really good sign for me that this is the Justin, because I trust Justin. I'm telling you, I think Justin's going to have between 3,500 and 4,000 yards. I just think the game and everyone around him is going to be able to take a lot of pressure off him. So in that, talk to me about the running back, the running game. Okay, the whole thing, the offensive lineup. We talked about Darnell Wright. We talked about him, but they signed Nate Davis. Move Tevin over to left guard, move Corey to center. And I assume, and I don't want to make an assumption because I hate making an ass out of you and Umption, but I assume that Braxton Jones has gotten stronger. I assume he's in the weight room. And so talk to me about this running game and how effective that's going to be and how effective that's going to make Justin.
I really like the way they sort of approach the offensive line shifts, because you put a good, solid veteran in Nate Davis next to Darnell Wright, so those two can work together in tandem, and he can work through the inexperience that Wright's going to have. But more importantly, the shifting of Jenkins to left guard, you forget that he was probably their best run blocker last year.
Oh,
and Braxton,
definitely.
Yeah. And Braxton Jones was their second best run blocker. And now you have those two next to each other. So all of a sudden, that left side of the offensive line could become a real asset in your running game. Not to mention Cody Whitehair is a good run blocker himself. So you've got that entire slab of beef right there capable of run blocking. So if the Bears ever have sort of that bread and butter play that they can go to, just run off the left side and you have a reasonably good chance of getting some yardage. So that's always a good thing when you have your offensive lines formulated that way. I remember the old Oakland Raiders lines from the 1970s when you had Gene Upshaw, Art Shell on that left side, sort of the same concept of having your two best run blockers on the same side. Anyway, and then you look at the running backs themselves. I'd argue, crazily enough, that it's deeper than it was last year, even though you had David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. You've got Khalil Herbert still. You've got Dante Foreman, who had a solid year last year. You've got Roshan Johnson, who I think is highly underrated, even though he was a fourth-round pick. And then you got Travis Homer, who never has gotten much time to play, but has played pretty well when he's gotten those opportunities. And he's a fantastic special teams player on top of that. So you're pretty much four deep in regards to the running back position, which is probably pretty important in this offense with your wide zone running scheme. So I think they're deep. I think they've got capability across the board in terms of versatility. You've got Johnson, who's a good pass protector and a good receiver out of the backfield. Same as Homer, who's a good receiver out of the backfield. So they're much more diverse and they're much deeper than they were last year. So I really like what they've done with this running game overall.
So with that running game, and you argue that the left side could be the best, and I argue that the right side could be the best because you got Darnell Wright, who is a guy who's a mauler. And it might take to the end of the season, and then you got Nasty Nate, who is not a nice person at the point of contact either.
Right.
So he comes in with an edge. So you got, when you mentioned that, I actually forgot that that Braxton Jones was a very good run blocker last year because of his mobility.
Right.
And he was able to get out. His biggest issue and only issue in my estimation was his ability to stop the bull rush. Once people figured that out, they stopped swimming and ripping and spinning like, no, we're just going through this dude because they could. So that's why I'm excited. I'm glad you reminded me about how the Braxton Jones's capabilities as a run blocker, and they were pretty damn good. So with that being said, the getting number 2 was huge. All right. That was huge. It pushes everybody down on in the pecking order. Justice may force a little more to DJ Moore because he believes, and DJ Moore probably can come down with more. What's that going to do for Darnell Mooney? What's that going to do for Chase Claypool? Those 2 guys are in a contract year. They need to perform, okay? And if they both perform well, so say they both get 600, 800 yards, okay? What do the Bears do? Do they sign both of them? Or does the addition of Scott say, hey, we're going to take one and not both?
It's a great question and a very valid one because, Poles has made it clear he wants to reward in-house players, and he'd love nothing better than if both of those guys play well and he can sign both of them. But it always comes down to what are both of them demanding in terms of compensation. If both of them are looking for, top 10 money, I don't think the Bears are probably going to do that. They're going to probably let one of them walk, whoever that may be, and then sort of lean on their depth with Scott, who I think has a valid role in this offense. He's already making some solid plays. He needs to work on his hands a little bit, but he's getting good releases off the line. He's gaining separation. He's showing his speed, and he's got way more capability after the catch than people give him credit for because of his size. He's only 5'10", 5'11", and 180 pounds. And when you look at that, you think, oh, this guy's not strong, but actually he is. He's a former running back, so he's got some capability there. So they're much deeper at wide receiver as well, which is something you always love to see. DJ Moore is a legitimate number 1 receiver. He's not Justin Jefferson. I get that, but he's a legitimate number 1 receiver. I compare him a lot to Chris Olave, who Justin played with in Ohio State. Very similar type of receiver, great release off the line, outstanding route runner, good speed. And you can see why Justin trusts him so much already because he probably sees the same thing. So when you have a player like that, it makes life for everybody else easier. It allows Darnell to play the number 2 role, which is what he's more destined for, what he's better at. When he doesn't have to be the number 1 guy and he doesn't have the same people focused on him that
coverage.
Yeah, that DJ will.
Brackets. Yeah.
It's going to be so much easier for Darnell to find open looks. And we already know Justin trusts him implicitly in those situations. Yes. So I think Darnell's going to have a big bounce back year if he stays healthy, obviously. And I think Claypool, as sort of a solid number 3, he's going to have some good plays as well. And then you've got the tight ends. You've got Cole Kmet. You've got Robert Tonyan. Both of them are capable of catching passes. This is probably the deepest pass-catching group of receivers that the Bears have had in a decade. And it's really impressive, and I'm really excited to see what Justin can do with it. I just hope the offensive line can, stay healthy, keep him upright, because if they do, I think he's going to have a big year. I really do.
I do too. Talk to me about Velus Jones, because I've heard from a few people who've been at camp covering this team. This dude ain't dropping a damn thing.
I mean,
feeling the heat. Feeling the heat.
I mean, you wanted competition. Here you go. I mean, it's unfortunate that the whole kickoff rule thing sort of came about because, he already had a roster spot lined up because of his kick return ability. And I still think he does, but it was always, can he improve as a receiver? Because, he had the hands issue. He wasn't quite getting the separation you prefer to see consistently. He would sometimes, but you prefer more consistency. Mm-hmm. And from an older rookie, people were obviously impatient because they think he should be further along at the age he is and all that sort of stuff. But, it was a brand new offense, one he's not used to, and he was still a rookie. So you got to cut him some slack. And it sounds like he put in the work. His hands have improved, and he's starting to, get some separation and do all that, which is absolutely a great thing because he's got the talent to be a really good receiver in this league. It's just a question of improving all the, little intricacies of the position. And if he can take a step forward as well, they might feel more comfortable about letting either Mooney or, Claypool walk, depending on the situation,
Right.
because they'll know they'll have Scott and Velus Jones waiting right there in the wings. So this is exactly how you want to build a good wide receiving core. You build it with young depth, draft picks consistently year over year, and then you just sort of rotate them through. And if somebody becomes a superstar, then you extend them. And so they've already got one guy locked up for 3 more years in DJ Moore. So that's great.
Yep.
Depending on who plays better between Claypool and Mooney, extend that guy if you can, unless their demand is exorbitant, and then just sort of work through Velus Jones and just keep drafting. And that's the way you properly do it, in the NFL these days. So I'm really encouraged the way Ryan Poles has approached this. So, it's a deep group, it's an athletic group, it's a fast group, and I think if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be an explosive one too.
I do too. And guys, we're joined by Eric Lambert for another moment or so here from Sports Mockery, talking Bears football on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So he's done what I just fell in love with, and that's created competition and depth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and he's also hedged himself for the things you said. If Donald Mooney has a bad year, or Chase Claypool, or they have a good year and want too much money, okay, cool. Deuces, you're out. We got these 2 young guys because Velus is kind of playing for his football life. They'll give you 1 year. They'll give you, okay, it's a new system, it's a new city, it's a new this, it's a new that. All right, fine. Year 2, you don't have to learn a new system. All right, you better start coming to play every day. And he has to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Scott will probably get that same luxury that Velus Jones had last year. But if he doesn't need it, if he comes and performs, and I'm not asking him to get 600-800 yards, say he gets 300 yards, 400 yards as a 4th receiver, probably even 5th or 6th, because you got him talking. We still got Cole Kmet and Robert Tonyan, and he gets that. Now you're like, wait a minute, we might not even need both of these guys because of the contract. So I love the way Ryan Poles has done this. And guess what? He's done it on defense too, because you just talked about the cornerback Smith as well as Tyreek Stevenson. So if you can't get Jalen Johnson re-signed, okay, no problem. You're good. You got Smith. Ryan Poles has done one hell of a job of creating depth, but also hedging himself in case these high-priced guys demand too much or get hurt or whatever the situation is. My hat's off to him, because this is one hell of a job of rebuilding. Last question before we let you go. Edge rusher, what are they going to do? All right. We talked about Terrell Lewis. He's in there. You talked about Gibson. Are they going to sign somebody? Is it just the veterans saying, listen, I don't want to go to OTAs, assignment for training camp? What do you think they're going to do off the edge?
I do think they're going to sign somebody, preferably before training camp, so they can get him in and get him, started on the defense. I don't know who it's going to be. We all know Yannick Ngakoue is still out there, but he, reports say he's holding out for a contender. And obviously, the Bears, the perception of the Bears is they aren't there yet. So you can understand why
would they be a contender next year?
I mean, if it's true that Ngakoue is looking for a multi-year deal, then yes, but we don't know what he's really thinking right now because nobody has signed him. But it's probably also a money thing. It's almost always a money thing. So we don't know where he is with his demands. But I do think they're going to sign somebody eventually to just improve the depth, if nothing else. But you prefer to get somebody who can at least get you maybe, 6 or 7 sacks to at least improve things a little bit. I know Justin Houston is 34 years old, but he's still proven to be an effective pass rusher. So if you want to bring him on a 1-year deal, I'd be fine with that. And maybe somebody will get cut. I mean, you never know. I mean, they're first in the waiver wire, so you could scoop up somebody that way. So there are ways they can go about this. They still have plenty of draft capital. They can trade for somebody, whoever that may be. We don't know yet. But I do think they're going to add one more pass rusher at some point in the near future. And I'm curious to see who it'll be.
Oh, and let's not forget, I forgot the guys. I know we got to let you go because I got another guy coming on, but let's not forget the supplemental draft is back this year as well. So they're at the top of that. They haven't traded any of their slots away. So they're at the top of every round of the supplemental draft.
Very true.
So they still can get somebody who had, for whatever reason, didn't go into the actual draft in the supplemental draft. That's another thing as well. That really, and you wrote about that too, if I'm not mistaken, in one of your articles. So, dude, great stuff today. As always, man, I appreciate your time. But do me a favor before you go, my man, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online, because most people in my chat know you and read you, but some may not.
You can find me at sportsmockery.com. I write on there all the time, about 5 or 6
articles a day.
Yeah, right. And I'm at Eric Lambert 1 on Twitter. I'm also on there all the time. If you want to talk football, feel free to hit me up.
Dude, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon.
Anytime, Shawn.
Thanks, Eric. Guys, that's Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery talking Bears. And, dude, you know how I get, man. The hair on my arms is standing up. I am fired the freak up about this moving forward. This Bears team is going to shock. Well, Rocky Balboa has shocked the world. And this is what my Bears are going to do, which is why I'm telling everybody, and I've said it before. I said it about a month ago, or as soon as the schedule came out. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to continue to say it. Watch out week 3 when we go to Kansas City. Watch out week 3. Okay? I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City. Okay, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. But when you go, what did Ric Flair say? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And they're going to have their shot. Like Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon. What do you say, Jack? Would you like a shot at the title? It's going to be one hell of a game, and it's in their backyard. So, but I digress. Whew, got me fired to freak up, baby. All right, my next guest, we're going to talk to him on the other side of the break. And, man, NBA season has finished. We're going to put a bow on it, but we're also going to talk about how this relates to the Bulls. We're going to talk about that huge trade that went down yesterday, how that relates to the Bulls, if at all. Man, we got a whole bunch of more. So, listen, my man Adam Shalafu from a not-so-frozen Fargo, North Dakota is going to be calling us, going to be joining us next. So keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JQReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My future stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Urban. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoynereports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoyne.
Every day we take steps.
Double team is coming early and often for Deladon. She turned away from it that time.
Here's Birch, who's into the game off the pump fake. That one falls, and the Sky finally on the...
But you'd like to touch.
Smith gets the up and under to go. Down
with one another as well.
Williams wheels baseline, kicks it. Birch 3. That one falls as the shot clock was winding. Nearly 4 minutes in.
Yeah, it was 11-0 prior to that bucket by Chicago.
Birch doubles up and adds another 3. She's got a quick 6. Evans with 4 seconds. Checks the clock. Goes to Williams as she lays it off the glass.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those were our girls. All right. That was the Chicago Sky yesterday. Tough one. We understood there's going to be a fight is going to be different because 4 of the 5 starters are gone. All right. And Riley Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot, all right, Candace Parker. You just can't replace those. It's tough. It's really tough. So as we see it, they're having their struggles right now. Well, the other pro basketball team in town, they had their struggles as well. And they get a lot more coverage and they get under a lot more scrutiny. Okay, because of the way that the last couple of seasons have gone. Made it to the playoffs, not consistently, but first round exits, not even a chance of smelling the second round. So we're gonna talk to our guy, man. He's part of Sports Zone Chicago, and you've seen him, but he's out in Fargo running things over at KVRR, high school, college, pro stuff, a whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm glad we get to talk to him. He's you can find him on Twitter at Fargo Food. That's FOUX. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Our guy Adam Shalafu. Adam, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Hey, man, great to see you. Happy to be here. Always happy to talk some Bulls, and very fun time to be an NBA fan. Happy to talk some NBA in general.
Yeah, so the finals just finished. Okay, Denver did what everyone thought they were going to do. They were nice. They gave Miami one. Like, hey, well, the gentleman's sweep. They'll give you one, but we're taking the next 4. We're taking 4. Talk to me about that Denver team. Their starting 5 is booked, signed, sealed, and delivered for the next 2 seasons. So let's start with them first. And before we go to the Bulls,
Denver, how do they? That's actually my second favorite team. My mom lives out in Denver, or in the Colorado area, actually other side of the Rockies, but I got both my sisters out there in Colorado. I got cousins out there. And when I was living in Colorado, I tried to go to a lot of those games just because I saw this. I saw what they were starting to build, and it was just fun basketball. And I can recall going into this last season, I got to eat a little bit of crow here, but just a side of crow, not a full crow. But my buddy Jeff, my in-law Jeff, he's telling me, like, how are the Nuggets not the favorites to win the championship? And I'm like, how is Michael Porter ever going to stay healthy? And that was kind of the big X factor, is how healthy were they going to be? Because you started to see it in the bubble. The 2-man game of Murray and Jokic and everything it creates. And a lot of what we see throughout the history of the NBA is copycat basketball, and somebody will lay down a formula and it'll work. And every once in a while you have a formula laid out that is revolutionary and never been done before. And that's what we saw with Nikola Jokic. When you bring in Jokic, and everyone celebrated him, he won his 2 MVPs, but I feel like people forgot that Jokic and Jamal Murray were more dangerous together. Because Murray was out, he had the ACL injury and everything, but that dude is a big, strong guard, and obviously can shoot the lights out. And so many times it was almost like at the end of a Phil Jackson triangle offensive set, like, all right, we'll just give the ball to Jordan. For them was like, all right, dribble handoff Jokic Murray. And it would either create something on the outside, or it would more likely than not create Murray has a wide open lane to the basket for the layup, or comes off that high screen and gets an open 3, or Jokic fades into an open 3 because the defense was over concerned about one of those guys. And I shouldn't even say over concerned, because they have every right to be just as concerned, but it was like a pick your poison constantly, and a riddle that the NBA is yet to solve. Now, the beauty of it all is you look at how they built that team in Denver, and it was just subtle upgrades around a consistent core. Like the most important people in that game or on that team is obviously Jokic and Murray. But then you look at what they did to bring in Aaron Gordon a few years ago, a guy who wasn't necessarily a great fit in Orlando and didn't really find his footing in the NBA, a dude who was a top 5 pick, super high expectations, but you bring in someone who's such a versatile perimeter and inside defender, and the guy who had to mark up, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, and did a really good job on all those guys. Really gave Butler a lot of trouble with the physicality he can play on the defensive side as well. That was like a very key cog in the machine. But then you bring in the Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Then you bring in a guy who didn't necessarily play a consistent minutes, but Christian Brown is a perfect fit for what they want to do. A two-way, really athletic. I got to see him up close and personal. I went to a Nuggets-Wolves game as a member of the media a few months back, and the Nuggets sat all their guys. So it's the Christian Brown game, and I remember being so excited. I took my still camera there, and I'm getting all these shots, and I wound up just being the Christian Brown photographer of the day. But he's a dude who's eventually going to take bigger and bigger steps, but he's a perfect fit for what they do. And so if Caldwell-Pope or Bruce Brown are on the bench, they don't lose that identity. And they just built it so well. All those guys are selfless. Porter Jr., I'd like to see make that extra pass a little bit more, but his role is to be the guy who can slash and the guy who can catch and shoot. And it's no coincidence that he wound up having to have that really big game 5 for them to, raise the championship trophy that night. And so you just look at the Nuggets, and they got to be the favorite to do it again next year until someone can, even on paper, put something together that, because there's other teams with more stars, but what makes basketball sense? It's like if you're making a pizza, you can get all these ingredients, but some of it's not going to go together. The Nuggets, everything is complementary.
Like pineapple doesn't go on pizza, but go ahead.
Right. Unless you're going to throw some jalapenos with the pineapple. Maybe those things can kind of do something weird with you. And maybe that's what Murray and Jokic is. It's a jalapeno and a pineapple. It's like people are, what am I even eating right now? But it's delicious, But it's like it's. I guess what I'm getting at with that is like it is this. No one's ever done this before. Jokic is the first Jokic we've ever seen, and the fact that people are comparing him to Wilt Chamberlain is interesting because, like, the reason Wilt was because you had to be pretty Wilt-centric with your identity because of how dominant he was. But Jokic is like if you combine Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson and just put them into one player. And that's wild. That's
who I think you can compare, Adam? Sabonis. Pops.
Arvidas, yeah.
The Pops but we just got him at the end of his career when his knees were shot.
Yeah.
Because if we had him in the prime of his career, because he was doing all that shit to Joker with all of it, and up and under and moves and passes and hitting shots, he was doing all that. It's just unfortunate that, as I said, we got him so late in his career.
Yeah,
he was, it was him and his little walker that he went out on the court with. That might be the only person, because I would have loved to have seen him. I mean, we can go back and look at YouTube of him, overseas. I don't want to see him overseas. I want to see him. I would have loved to have seen him with those, with the Ewings, with the Olajuwons, with the Shaqs, with the, and the reason being because they're different types. Shaq is different than Olajuwon. Olajuwon's different than Ewing. Ewing's different than Smith. Smith's is different than Mourning. Like all those different types of guys that and you got to get ready for this guy because you're not used to playing. So, but I love Joker's game. His game is, he could barely jump over a piece of paper, but God bless it, man. That Mother Hubbard is, do you consider him the best player in the NBA or the best player in the world?
I mean, right now it's such a short list. Like it's him or Giannis. And I got to give Jokic, especially because, like, he turned into a much better defender. And Giannis is probably like the best versatile defensive guy in the world, but Giannis isn't hitting these like Sombor shuffle 1-foot threes with Anthony Davis up in his grill. It's just not happening. The smoothness of Jokic's offensive game, and I just can't recall a player in my lifetime as a basketball fan that makes other players as good as Jokic is able to do on a nightly basis. And he can go give you 30, 40 on his own, and he'll do that with 15 rebounds. And it's crazy.
And 12 assists.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I would be looking at the betting lines, and, a triple-double is typically going to be like at least plus 600 or something for a really good player. But Jokic is like plus 115. Like, yeah, he'll probably get a double. He's probably going to just get a triple-double casually tonight because that's what he does. That doesn't happen. And it's not a Westbrook triple-double where the guy's sprinting for his life, like kind of hogging rebounds. It's like it happens organically over the course of the time. And like there are games when I would be watching him where he would very quietly kill you with like a 20-10-10. It's not this overwhelming, like there's another sports reporter out here, and I don't want to name any names. He would talk trash on Jokic all year. Like, he's not that good. He's not that good. I'm like, he's amazing. He's just not something you've seen before. Just because he's not Dominique Wilkins or Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady or one of these like high flying, LeBron James guys who are going to beat you with that insane athleticism and just dunk it on your head. It's not always going to look like that. He looks like, and he talked about, Jokic said he modeled his game after Tim Duncan among Sabonis as well. And that's what you see. It's not always going to be this super sexy move or whatever, but like, if you know ball, you know that this dude is basically like, if I had to, he's like the sun. He's the sun. Everything revolves around him. And that's,
remember, I forgot what game it was that he didn't have a shot until like 10 seconds left in the first quarter, but he had like almost, I think he had 8 or 9 assists and 7 rebounds. And his first shot was 5 seconds left in the first quarter.
And that's like the intangible aspect of that is the fact that you have the guy where a lot of people are considering now to be the best basketball player in the world, and that he has the selfless mentality that he just wants to win, and he sees it as his job to do what it helps to win. But he doesn't have this selfishness that says, well, we're going to win because I will score all the points. Like,
right.
He has a very woke approach to how he's a leader on his team. He's become more vocal, but the evolution of Nikola Jokic is something we all need to like realize how special that is while it's happening.
Guys, we're joined by Adam Shalafu, talking Chicago Bulls NBA and Chicago Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So too bad we don't have a guy who put this Denver team together, because he'd probably bring that blueprint here, and oh wait, we have the dude who put this Denver team together, who has the blueprint. Talk to me about when we're going to get our people similar to that of Denver. I can see, and many people may come at me, but I can see the Vooch. All right, he's your poor man's Joker. All right, he was hitting 40% from behind the arc. We know he can facilitate. We've talked about that. Remember the offense going through him. He can score in the low post. So I can see him being your Euro center, your poor man's Joker. Well, where are the rest of our Jamal Murrays, our Michael Porter Jr.'s, our KCPs? Who are those players, and when are we going to get them if we don't have them?
Well, this is certainly an interesting week right now. And, you kind of look at what the Bulls were doing. I'm glad you bring up Vucevic there, because he started to get used a little bit more, it seemed, as a facilitator. But so much of the Bulls offense kind of had to adjust to itself. And at times, especially in the fourth quarter over the last 2 seasons, it kind of became a your turn, my turn thing with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. And I don't know how sustainable that is. Like I said earlier with the Nuggets, it's all these really well-fitting pieces, and we're seeing those pieces fit better with Lonzo Ball. And so the Bulls had an identity that was more sustainable. And I don't want to beat the Lonzo thing over the head because, like, it's I don't want to say it's water under the bridge at this point, but like, at what point are we going to kind of cut our losses and say, all right, how do we adjust? But I have to bring up Lonzo because when you look at what they were trying to build, a lot of that he kind of had to be the hubcap to some degree, because the Bulls' identity wasn't going to be the Nuggets' identity of having this brilliant playmaking center. And I don't think that there is another player in the world, frankly, that you can do that with on that level. You can have Vucevic as a poor man's Jokic, and I think that teams are going to continue to look to have centers be more active playmakers. Like, we're going to see the effects of that and the ripple effects throughout the league, but I don't think anyone's going to truly be able to clone that. The Bulls do have a guy who is like a really good passing center in that way, and it's looking like he's going to be back on a 3-year deal, is kind of what the rumors I've been reading in regards to Vooch. But I think that the Bulls are at a juncture right now where they are going to need to make a move. And it's interesting to see the Zach LaVine noise. Personally, for all the obvious reasons, I'd rather see DeMar DeRozan get moved. He's just older. And I don't think the Bulls window, it's looked like it was starting to open, and now it's not really open. And so you want to stay younger. But the two big names to keep an eye on right now are Zion Williamson and Karl Anthony Towns. And so a Karl Anthony Towns move might make a lot of sense for the Bulls, but then you have to watch that Vucevic situation, right? Let's say the Bulls do a player-for-player swap, Zach LaVine for Karl Anthony Towns.
Ouch. Back to Minnesota?
Yeah. And it would be kind of ironic, right? But then Vucevic is kind of out at that point.
Yeah.
But then you have a really good passing center in Towns who can handle the ball as well. Statistically, Karl Anthony Towns better 3-point shooter than Larry Bird. Like, Larry Bird's obviously the better player. I'm not trying to blaspheme here, but Karl Anthony Towns shoots that at like 40%. He's a 3-point shootout champion, and there's a lot of things you can do when you look at pairing him with, like, ideally, I'd like to just pair him with Zach LaVine,
Okay.
But I think you need to move LaVine to get him. But then if you throw in a guy like DeMar DeRozan and Karl Anthony Towns, then you can have, Pat Williams, who's starting to show some promise at that 4 spot. You can, keep him there. I don't think the Bulls want to replicate, and that's why I'm thinking Vuce would be out of the situation. They don't want to do something where you have 2 centers. It was a little slow and clunky at times in Minnesota this past season with Gobert and Towns out there together, but that's something I could see happening. And then the Zion Williamson situation is the dude's clearly not happy, and I don't think it's a fixable situation because he's so upset about Teresa Witherspoon leaving or pretty much being told to leave. And that's someone with a ton of basketball experience and was a very important mentor to Zion. It seems like the writing on the wall is he's had enough, and you can question how happy he ever really was
in New Orleans.
And so, but you have to get aggressive there, but that's where it's going to require some gamesmanship from the Bulls front office, because you look at a guy like Zion Williamson and, it's similar to Joel Embiid, where Embiid at the beginning of his career, people are starting to be like, okay, is this guy the guy we thought we were getting because he's not playing? And then Embiid was this last year's MVP. Now Zion Williamson could wind up being another Greg Oden, Jay Williams, or he could wind up being another guy who's like upside of him is like a Charles Barkley, Karl Malone caliber power forward. and you put him on the Bulls, and all of a sudden you can kind of use that as your primary building block. You want them to stay healthy, but they're at a point, the Bulls are, where they need to start, like, you got to make some risks, and you got to be willing to fail to succeed here.
Well, we failed this point.
Yeah, like
to this point, I mean, we're feeling pretty good.
And some of it's out of their control. Obviously, like Lonzo's knee was not part of the plan for anybody. And they did an okay job this past season recovering. You bring in Patrick Beverley, and what they were able to do with Patrick Beverley and Alex Caruso on the floor together was kind of unique. Mm-hmm. And I hope that they're able to kind of keep that together. I don't know what's the situation with Bev, but like they were able to kind of figure it out and piece together a Frankenstein point guard between those two. But it's not going to be Lonzo Ball. And at that point, the identity, like everything they built's out the window now because it was so Lonzo centric, and it had to be, because you're a transition team and you don't have a ton of great rebounders other than Vucevic. You had the perfect fit in Lonzo Ball, and there's just not another player in the NBA, at least off the top of my head, who's like that 6'7" point guard who can rebound and pass that way and doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands. Like Lonzo brought this super unique skill set and was able to help LaVine and DeRozan be a nightmare in transition.
Yep.
And like Kevin Love is another great guy, on Miami, but he does a lot of the same things that Joker's able to do as far as like that outlet passing. And so, they're going to have to adjust, but at this point, it's time to kind of cut your losses if you're the Bulls front office and do something a little crazy, because, who knows how safe the jobs are at this point if they don't figure something out. And DeMar's only getting older, and Zach LaVine's kind of at this point where he really turned it on after the All-Star break. And so his trade value is going to be high, but it's like, is this guy going to have like Jimmy Butler will die for you? Will Zach LaVine die for you? I just don't know. But the Bulls need some toughness, and I don't know if LaVine has it. And that's where it's like all the talent in the world's there, but I need to see him like have that eye of the tiger. And I just feel like I haven't seen that, like, I want to humiliate you, I want to kill you toughness that Jimmy Butler's the poster boy for in the NBA. I need to see that out of Zach. Otherwise, I don't think he can be the guy who leads the Bulls to a championship. And that's the thing. Like, you go to Minnesota, like that's the closest NBA team where I'm at right now, and they're thrilled about making the playoffs. It's not good enough in Chicago. Like, the standards are higher. There are 6 banners hanging, and you got a number 23 up there.
And like, a statue.
Yeah. Like, making the playoffs isn't good enough. And so it's a tougher situation for any manager to come into. This fan base has high expectations. And so this might be good enough in a place like Minnesota. It might be good enough in a place like New Orleans because they haven't tasted the true glory, but it is not good enough in Chicago. And so they need to aggressively build a contender. And that means doing something aggressive this offseason. Maybe they bring in Cat with the LaVine thing. Maybe they package something together for Lonzo. This is wishful thinking, but like the numbers work out on DeMar DeRozan, Pat Williams, and then you throw in a bunch of draft picks for Zion Williamson, Larry Nance Jr., and then you just got to have somebody fill in about $4 or $5 million on cap, who's just going to be a dump for New Orleans. But it's time to start looking at those avenues.
Last question before we let you go on. We're joined by Adam Shalafu talking Chicago Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. P. Will, what is his status? It seems like he just can't get over the hump of being consistent. He's got a lot of the damn near all the physical attributes. 6'9", he can hit the three with some sort of consistency. Plays good defense sometimes, not all the time. If you're looking at metrics, what do you think his role is? Can he be one of our Aaron Gordon, or Michael Porter Jr. types, or what do we need? What's P. Will's role in this organization?
The interesting thing is, like, when Patrick Williams was kind of given the keys, he showed he could drive. You know, when there were games when Zach or DeMar weren't as involved and Patrick Williams like actually got the chance to be more aggressive. He showed that in flashes, but I feel like in a weird way, his growth has been restricted because of the ISO heavy offense we've at times seen with DeMar and Zach.
Yep.
And so you have a guy like Patrick Williams, and like, you know, to contrast this and bring it full circle with our conversation today, like you look at the Nuggets and they have all these great guys who can thrive in their role. But the reason Patrick Williams isn't a Michael Porter Jr. right now is because he's not getting the same opportunities Michael Porter Jr. is. You know, like that ball doesn't move as fluidly. That ball doesn't move as beautifully. And the Bulls right now need to figure out how to just be a better like basketball team, not better individual players. But they need to reach a level of selflessness through their play if they truly want to get to a next level, and if they want to help some of these guys blossom, because the two dudes are Patrick Williams and Kobe White, who have shown flashes at times, especially last season. Kobe White he had a nice little run. He had a good year last year. We got to, you know, throw that out, give him a bone. We've been on him a lot, but both those guys had their moments. But it's a weird thing, and that's why I do want the Bulls. I'll be on record with saying I want the Bulls to move on from DeMar DeRozan this summer. And it's no disrespect for DeRozan, but he's getting older, and you got guys waiting who need to step up, and it's time to kind of give them a chance, and you need to get something back from DeMar DeRozan's trade value, because he's too similar to Zach at this point, and it worked with Lonzo. It doesn't without him, but, you know, it's time to, you know, it's like to bring it back to the pizza. A lot of times people either want sausage or pepperoni, you know, because they're similar. And Zach, it's sausage and pepperoni, man. And like, maybe you want to get some onions. Maybe it's time to swap the pepperoni for some onions. And then you got sausage, onion, green pepper. And that's a nice little thing you got going there. But right now it's like a meat lovers. And that's just, I don't like meat lovers, and meat lovers.
I do.
Champion. I mean, it's good, sure, but meat lovers not going to win you championships on the basketball court. You know, like it's all too many of the same guys. It's too many of the same guys, and that makes it somewhat predictable. It's not like a Jordan and Pippen, where Pippen is this brilliant defender, super versatile, you know, point forward passer, facilitator guy. You know, like Zach and DeMar both get tunnel vision, aren't necessarily great passers. Zach has turned into a much better defender, but it's like those are too similar. You need to flip DeMar. Zach's a young one. If you want to keep Zach, unless you're getting Zion or Cat, you keep Zach. But the older one, flip him and just see what happens. And then you increase Patrick Williams' role and see what happens with that. But like, you have Kobe White, like, who can give you 20 any night, and he's not really getting the minutes he can because it's getting stifled up here by a really good old player, but an old player in basketball terms. And then Patrick Williams isn't able to expand his role because of that too. And so it's kind of like, it's clunky is what it is, Shawn. It's clunky. And
I follow it, yeah.
Yeah, they just need to, like, they had to scrap the old identity. Okay, well, make a new one and make it make sense, because you can't be like you can't be the Washington Wizards where you got good guys but it never makes sense. Like, do something that makes sense. The reason the Warriors win championships is because it makes sense. The Nuggets, it makes sense. Like the LeBron blueprint, it makes sense because you can look at the LeBron blueprint across all the different teams he's been, but like the team has an identity. And it's not just built like a lot of times, it's going to be built around like one dude's the dude. But like right now, it's the Bulls are Minnesota good. They're good enough to maybe get to the second round of the playoffs, but they are not Chicago good. They're not making it to a conference finals. They're not doing enough to keep the fan base satisfied. And they need to aggressively get better this offseason, especially because they don't have the draft picks. And it's very easy time for the fan base to get frustrated right now because you're seeing, Victor Wembanyama draft, and obviously the Magic didn't get that pick, but the Victor Wembanyama draft, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, Bulls don't have a pick. And they just did this Vucevic trade. The Bulls don't have a pick in this draft. And then this is the second time that the Bulls fans, and it's not Mickey Mouse land anymore with Jimmy. He didn't do it in the bubble. Like Jimmy Butler put a team on his back and got him to the finals. And Lauri Markkanen's over here being an all-star for the Utah Jazz. Like Chris Dunn is like a bench minutes guy if he's even in the league. I know he got a little bit of run in Utah this year, but like, did they lose the Butler trade? Did they double down and then lose the market, like Markkanen go to make that even worse? Did you lose the Vucevic trade? Because now you're out on one of the best draft classes in recent history. Like, it's a very easy – hindsight's always going to be 20/20, and I think the Bulls, a lot of those moves made sense at the time. But it's an easy time for Bulls fans to be frustrated when you're watching Lauri Markkanen turn into an all-star and you're seeing Jimmy Butler lead a team to the finals when he wanted to stay here.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
We got to see, Shawn. We got to see.
Dude, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be real interesting. Adam, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can follow me, Fargo Foo, F-O-U-X on Twitter. Pretty slow time of year in sports, so a lot of minor league baseball, American Association. If you're a Kane County Cougars or Chicago Dogs fan, you want to see them lose to the Red Hawks, I have your highlights. And then I will say there's two dudes worth following me for just for basketball season, Mason Clabo and Jeremiah Sem, two best players in the state, well-kept secrets. Jeremiah Sem is a junior at Fargo North, saw this dude jump from the free throw line, and he missed the dunk, all right? He missed the dunk, but he's going up doing this free throw line windmill, and I said, that guy's got at least NBA athleticism. Keep an eye on him. And Clabo, the best pedigree you could get. His mom was a Gatorade Player of the Year. His dad was D1 football. His sister played professionally in Europe. So I you know me, I follow all the sports, but I keep a very close eye on the hoops. So yeah, follow me if you're trying to see that. Otherwise, I'm always tweeting NBA, always talking Bulls and throwing in some dad jokes. So thank you, Shawn, for having me on. Great to be here.
No problem, Papa. We will talk soon. You have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
All righty. Guys, Adam Shalafu calling from North Dakota. Woo, Charlie. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to put a bow on this show, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Gio Reyna. Header, step down and in. It's Richards. 18 months between caps. His first international goal. Glides through the midfield. Forward to Bellingham. His first goal for the United States. And what a goal it is.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That was yesterday. That was the U.S. men's national team. Okay. In the CONCACAF finals over Canada. Listen, I'm not a huge, you know me, I'm not a huge soccer fan. I do appreciate the skill necessary to play soccer. The skill that the talent that the athletes have, the conditioning, the everything. I get it. It's just boring. But I was watching it yesterday. Okay. I was at a place and everyone was watching. They were watching the game yesterday because Mexico was on beforehand. So they were watching the Mexico game. And this game was in Vegas. All right. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The U.S. Came out with the victory. It was actually pretty cool to see. We just got done with Adam Shalafu talking Bulls, talking NBA. He threw out a couple of interesting, bold moves. Right? Go get Karl Anthony Towns. Go get Zion. Trade for Zion. I don't know if those are feasible, but what it is it's the Bulls actually finally doing something, all right? Because you have to shake it up at this particular point. All right, you can't trust Lonzo Ball, you can't trust his knee. He was he was on point. Zach or DeMar DeRozan's only getting older. All right, he's only getting older. So, can you expect him to can he continue to save this franchise night in and night out? Because he's kind of slipped last year. Zach doesn't seem to have that. assassin mentality. But I've said that for the last couple of seasons. What do you do? What do you do? All right. When other teams are making moves and we're stuck in basketball purgatory, which is literally basketball hell. But interesting. Brandon, you like the hat? You like my new Blackhawks hat? That's cool, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hassan, he does. He is missing some Chicago style pizza. And I would too. I would too if I was away for over a year. You know what I mean? There's just nothing like it. And I'm sure they got pizza places up there, of course, but there's nothing like Chicago style pizza. Nothing. So Cornelius, yeah, he addressed it. He's like, he just never got a chance. But I'm tired of hearing this. All right, listen, I'm tired of hearing that, he's smothered. Zach and DeMar are taking the ball and blah, 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 blah. Listen, Linda, listen. You go get the damn ball. You go make plays. You demand respect. Any of you ever played basketball? It's a rhetorical question, of course. You want respect on the court, you go get it. You don't worry about who the stars are on your team. You don't worry about who the superstars are on your team. You don't worry about who the Hall of Famers are on your team. You don't worry about that. You go and you get yours. You go and prove yourself. So Patrick Williams, you deferring to these guys, damn, you're in fucking year 4 now. Come on. Or going into year 5? What year is it with this guy? Going into year 4? Go get it. Go make yourself known. Go announce yourself like, hey, I am here and I'm here to stay. So stop this nonsense with, he feels he has to defer or smother. No, homie. Listen, you want to play? Play. Don't worry about who's on the court. Because trust me, they'll get it. These guys want you to shine. Zach and DeMar want you to shine, especially Zach, because now that's less pressure off of him. You play better throughout the game. That's less crunch time minutes in the fourth quarter. But all this stuff, it's got to stop. Closed mouths don't get fed on the boulevard. So go get the God-blessed ball. When it's your turn, go. When it's your turn, rebound. When it's your turn, hit that 3. When it's your turn, drive and dunk. When it's your turn, make the good pass. Period. Stop coddling these kids. Stop making excuses for these kids. Oh, well, it's tough and, yeah, maybe year 1, year 2. Okay, good. Came out after 1 year, 6-man at Florida State. You feel a little, okay, kind of in awe of these guys. No problem. I get it. Cool. Year 3 now? Nah, homie. No. Then you show out in a summer league game. You're dunking. You're taking control. You're the man. Nah, homie. You need to start doing that on the NBA court. So stop that nonsense. All right, grow a pair. This is the NBA. You need to step up. You need to grab your respect. You need to demand your respect. Not, okay, I'll get in where I fit in. Because I told you, I think Patrick Williams could be a huge asset to us. With his ability to defend, with his ability to hit the 3, with his ability to drive, with his ability to pull up for the midi, with his ability to facilitate. This guy can do a lot for us. But he's nervous or he wants to defer now? Nah, homie. You've been in the league too damn long to be wanting to defer. You need to let Muggs know I got talent too. I got talent too, homie. And that's the bothersome thing. We're trying to think of what is his. Damn it. It's Scotty Barnes, his boy from Florida State on Toronto. He's not deferring to nobody. He's not deferring to Van Fleet or anybody else. He's not deferring to Pascal Siakam, old head Otto Porter Jr. No, he's taking control. So why can't you, Patrick, get out of your own head? You're talented. Very. Let's do it, because I'm tired of this nonsense. The mental midgets, which many athletes are today, is frustrating. It's frustrating to all get out. The talent's never been in question. It's the maturity level. It's the desire. It's the want. And don't tell me you want it, because trust me, when you want something, you go get it. Doesn't matter what's in your way. It doesn't matter. You go get it. Doesn't seem like he wants it. Man, sorry to get fired up again, but I had a good show and I got fired up a lot. My Sox rant today. The Bears got me fired up in a good way. The Bulls now. Patrick Williams. Come on, man. The stuff we see you doing in the Summer League, that's what we need to see you doing in the NBA. You have the ability to take a lot of guys off the dribble. Take it in and dunk it on their head. Make them adjust in the game to who's guarding you. Oh, no, we can't put him on there. No, can't do that. You're right. He does lack aggressiveness. Why? I don't know. I can't answer that. Only he can. Only he can. Listen, man, we had a great show. I want to thank my guests for coming on. Eric Lambert from Sports Mockery talking Bears with us. Woo, Charlie, good stuff. Then we just got done with Adam Shalafu talking Bulls in the NBA. Good stuff. You know, and real quick, I don't know a lot how many people know this or the understanding of this, but I did want to say, let everybody know, happy Juneteenth. It's Freedom Day, so free-ish. And a lot of people don't know. All right? A lot of people don't know about this. I was at CrossFit class this morning, and two teachers were talking. You know, and they're like, "Oh, we have a holiday today," because they were teaching summer school because school's out. But they're saying, "Yeah, I don't even know what the holiday is." I mean, it didn't surprise me. The demographic didn't surprise me, and there were other people. There were other nationalities in there that didn't. They're Hispanic. They were Black. They were European. They didn't understand it. They're Polish and whatever. And they're just sitting there, and I was waiting for them just to kind of see if anyone knew, and they didn't. And so I'm like, look, I had to explain it to them. Okay, back in 1865, General Gordon came down, and they were free. And I told them, just being a smart ass, I said, since there was no internet around back then, slaves were freed, but they didn't know it. All right, many couldn't read. You aren't listening to the radio. You aren't hopping online to find this shit out. So there were still a lot of slaves who were free. I mean, who were working, who were still enslaved. And the slave masters aren't going to tell you you're free. So that was the Juneteenth, June 19th, in 1865. It's when General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of slavery, and he got the last. He got the last slaves aware of the fact that they were free. So June 19th, and so June is obviously it's a combination of June and 19th, Juneteenth. So now you know. All right. Well, listen, we got great stuff, man. I appreciate it, guys. All you guys had this shit lit today. Hassem's in the house, Patty Lara, Cornelius, Nomad, Brandon's in the house, Brandon Schutz. All right, my man Armando Meterio Lara Jr., Luis Mejia's in the house. Okay. I appreciate it. Leo's in the house today too. Great stuff, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. Vernon. Man, you had this chat live. Charles Edward Bingham McDavid Sr. was in the house. Michelle Walls was in the house. Man, thank you so much. We appreciate the love and the support. So we're gonna take a 45-hour break, and on the other side of the break, we'll see you on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. We got some changes coming up. We might start next week. We'll see. I'll talk to the boss and see what he says, and we'll go from there. But anyway, want a big shout out to my guy Steve Weekly for getting me my clips. Executive producer Elliot Baez, social media guy Clarence Council, my co-host Ed Absentia, Maya Kai. Hopefully we entertained you, put a smile on your face, and just let you say, "Oh, I didn't even know that." That's cool. All right. But Cornelius, yes, thank you. Juneteenth has been celebrated in Texas for a long time, but not here in Illinois or the Midwest. Right. So now it's a national holiday, I believe. So it's good. And what was interesting this morning, because one of the teachers taught history. And I'm like, yeah, they didn't teach you that in history. They definitely didn't teach you that in history, but it was interesting. But anyway, man, great show today. Thank you guys for your love, your support, and do us a favor. Refer us. Talk to your people. Hey, you guys got to check out We're Going Chicago and Shawn and Maya in the morning. Great stuff. And after me, about 12:15, Second City Sports with Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown. They're going to take over for the next 2 hours talking baseball, Cubs, Sox, football, Bears, basketball, Bulls, NBA. Okay, maybe a little hockey. So they're going to take you for the next 2 hours with your sports conversation. So for everybody, We're Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Enjoy your day. It's supposed to be a beautiful day today if you're in the Chicagoland area. Let me see something. What time is it? It's 77 degrees right now. 77 degrees, high of 80. Oh man, I think I may end up going to the water park. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, have a great day. We will see you on Wednesday. All right. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And guess what? Your boy, he is